What if the story of Jesus you have been told is merely the shadow of a far greater truth? A narrative so vast, so cosmic in scope, that conventional religious accounts have only captured fragments of its true magnitude. For centuries, theology has confined Jesus within earthly boundaries, a prophet of Israel, a martyr of history, a spiritual teacher of one people in one era. But there exists a text that shatters these limitations entirely, a revelation that emerged not from ancient caves, but from the threshold of the 20th century, carrying knowledge that seems to originate from dimensions beyond our ordinary perception. That text is the Urantia Book. The Urantia Book is not merely a collection of esoteric philosophy. It presents itself as a revelation transmitted by celestial beings, whose purpose is to expand human consciousness about the universe, divinity, and the true nature of Jesus himself. The text identifies Jesus not as a local Messiah, but as Michael of Nebadon, a creator son who chose our world for a mission that transcends conventional history. The Urantia Book emerged in Chicago in the early 20th century through a mysterious process of transmission. A group led by psychiatrist Dr. William S. Sadler received extensive documents through a man whose identity remains veiled, who entered profound trance states and received communications that were meticulously transcribed. The compilers maintained that this is a supramaterial revelation offered by celestial beings, authorized by the spiritual hierarchies of the universe. What distinguishes this revelation is its architectural precision. Unlike symbolic teachings, it offers an ordered and hierarchical vision of spiritual worlds, material universes, and cosmic administrations, with a level of detail that astonishes both spiritual seekers and students of metaphysics. His incarnation was not merely a local redemptive act. It was a cosmic event, observed by countless civilizations and celestial beings as a supreme demonstration of service, love, and divine revelation. Jesus did not come only for earth. His life was a universal teaching, a manifestation of the divine character throughout the entire local universe. We are not before a different version of the Gospels. We stand before an expansion, an elevation of the narrative that integrates the life of Jesus into a vastly larger scenario where human existence is inscribed within a cosmic drama of universal spiritual evolution. Understanding this reshapes everything: our vision of history, our understanding of divinity, and our place within an infinite living cosmos. The Urantia Book presents Jesus under two complementary natures that transform our entire understanding of who he truly was. He was a fully human being who lived, felt, struggled, and loved as any of us might. And simultaneously, he was a creator son, a divine being who chose to incarnate in a material world to experience the lives of his own creatures and reveal the character of the universal Father. This duality is known as the self-bestowal of Michael of Nebadon. We stand before a perfect synthesis of humanity and divinity, a conscious incarnation whose purpose was to unify both planes within a single lived experience. One of the most impactful revelations is the depth of Jesus' formative process. The Urantia Book narrates his childhood and adolescence with richness that has no parallel in any other source. Jesus experienced the same trials as any human being. He faced internal doubts, familial and social pressure, and the tensions of his political and religious environment. He knew loss. His father Joseph died when Jesus was young, forcing him to assume responsibility for his family. He experienced poverty, arduous work, and human limitation, which refined his compassion and deepened his understanding of the human condition. Jesus awakened gradually to his divine identity while simultaneously honoring his role as a fully human being embedded in his epoch. This revelation is extraordinary because it shows a Jesus who is accessible, profoundly empathetic. His greatness lies not only in miracles, but in the quality of his daily life. Every act of kindness, every gesture of understanding, every teaching offered on the streets of Nazareth was a conscious manifestation of divine will incarnated in human experience. Another fascinating aspect is his relationships with family, friends, and disciples. The text reveals family dynamics with detail and his capacity to generate deep friendship and trust among those who surrounded him. Far from being an authoritarian or distant leader, Jesus appears as a master of human relations, a being radiating such luminous understanding that those who knew him were transformed simply by his presence. A key teaching that emerges is that divinity is expressed not only in great acts, but in daily life, in how we treat another, work with honesty, and live with integrity. The Urantia Book recalculates that Jesus' greatness resides in how he lived ordinary life with extraordinary love. Each carpentry, each conversation, each moment was an expression of the divine channeled through the simplest gestures of human existence. The Urantia Book radically redefines who Jesus truly was and why he came. The central teaching of Jesus was the proclamation of the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of humanity. This principle, though seemingly simple, contains cosmic profundity. All human beings, without distinction of race, culture, religion, or social position, are sons and daughters of God. As children of the same Father, all beings are brothers and sisters. And this brotherhood is an intrinsic spiritual reality that transcends any barrier created by society. This concept dismantles hierarchical structures that for centuries have attempted to monopolize the relationship between humanity and the divine. No intermediaries are needed, no complex rituals, no ecclesiastical affiliations to access the universal Father. The connection is direct, personal, intimate, and eternal. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within you, not in an external temple. Each human being, upon recognizing their divine filiation and living according to principles of love, truth, beauty, and goodness, manifests that kingdom here and now. This vision returns spiritual authority directly to the individual soul. Another impactful aspect the Urantia Book emphasizes is the cosmic vision of prayer and worship. Jesus taught that prayer is not selfish supplication, but living communion with the divine source, an alignment of personal will with universal will. Worship is not external adulation, but an act of gratitude and recognition that elevates human consciousness toward higher levels of spiritual understanding. These teachings were embodied by Jesus in his daily life through concrete actions of compassion, service, and unconditional love toward all, rich, poor, healthy, sick, friends, and enemies alike. His life was the living lesson of his message. The Urantia Book emphasizes that Jesus did not condemn existing religions. He respected sincere faith practices of his era. However, he criticized rigid structures and empty dogmas that separated souls from direct contact with God. His mission was to liberate humanity from chains of religious fear and restore confidence in spiritual dignity. One of the most touching revelations is that Jesus taught spiritual life does not separate from daily life. There is no line between sacred and profane. Every act performed with love, truth, and goodness is a spiritual act. From a simple conversation to honest work or a gesture of help, each action can be an expression of the interior kingdom that transforms existence itself. We have traversed a path that revealed a Jesus far greater and more universal than commonly presented in traditional narratives. A being who planted a cosmic seed in the soul of all humanity. Now the question arises, how can we live coherently with the message of divine filiation and universal brotherhood that Jesus embodied, according to the Urantia Book? The Urantia Book emphasizes that true prayer is an intimate conversation with the Universal Father, an expression of trust, gratitude, and alignment with divine will. Dedicate minutes each day to remember and affirm your spiritual identity. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and say inwardly, I am a child of the Universal Father. I am connected directly to the source of all love, wisdom, and life. Today, I choose to live as a channel of His will, in harmony with truth, beauty, and goodness. This simple act recalibrates your mind and heart. It reminds you that you need no intermediaries, and that living with consciousness of your divine filiation makes you a conscious link in the universal network of love. Another practice is active brotherhood. If all are children of the same Father, each person crossing your path is your cosmic brother or sister. Each time you see someone, friend, stranger, or even someone with whom you have differences, mentally say, you too are a child of the Universal Father. May your life be filled with light, peace, and truth. This gesture transforms your vibration and energy field, breaking barriers of judgment and training you in the active compassion Jesus lived in every encounter. There is no separation between sacred and profane. Each act done with love, honesty, and service is a divine act. Convert your day into a conscious offering. When preparing food, working, caring, or conversing, do it with the intention of manifesting God's kingdom here and now. Before each task, say, Father, may this action be an expression of your love and truth. Finally, synchronize with divine will. True spiritual freedom arises when we align our will with the Universal Father's. Each night before sleep, dedicate minutes to this practice. Breathe deeply and repeat inwardly, Father, may your will be done, not mine. I trust that your plan is wiser than my understanding. Guide me to serve and love according to your purpose. These practices, simple yet profound, help you embody Jesus' universal spiritual legacy and live as a conscious participant in the cosmic evolution of consciousness. Now that we have walked together through these fascinating revelations from the Urantia Book, it is time to pause, breathe, and contemplate what we have truly discovered. We have seen that the figure of Jesus transcends completely the frontiers of dogma, institutional religion, and traditional narratives. He was not merely a prophet, nor exclusively a moral teacher, nor only a martyr of history. He was and is a cosmic ambassador, a creator son, who descended to our world not only to redeem sins, but to reveal the true face of the Universal Father and remind us who we truly are. His life, as the Urantia Book describes it, is the perfect manifestation of the union between humanity and divinity. Jesus did not come to establish a church. He came to awaken the consciousness of divine filiation in each human being, to teach us that God does not dwell in temples of stone, nor hide behind complex rituals. God dwells within you. God is your Father, and you are His child, and all beings around you are your brothers and sisters in this immense living universe. Understanding this is not merely an intellectual act. It is a profound call to the soul, an invitation to transform every aspect of our life. Because when we remember that we are citizens of a cosmos governed by love, our priorities shift fundamentally. We cease to compete, to fear, to judge, to fragment. We begin to serve, to love, to unite, to construct. Not from obligation, but because the spark of divinity within us recognizes it as natural. The legacy of Jesus, as presented by the Urantia Book, is a call to live in harmony with divine will, to convert each day into an act of communion with the eternal, and to extend universal brotherhood beyond any frontier created by humans. The revelation contained in the Urantia Book offers us a vision of a living, intelligent, and profoundly loving cosmos. A vision that does not reduce spirituality to dogmas or beliefs, but expands it toward the understanding of an organized universe where each consciousness matters, where each soul is precious, and where love is the fundamental law. As you move forward from this understanding, carry with you the awareness that your life is not separate from the cosmic drama that unfolds across infinities. Each thought, each word, each action resonates beyond this small world, contributing to the awakening of consciousness throughout the universe. Today, we invite you to reflect deeply on these revelations from the Urantia Book, to read, to meditate, to experience for yourself the lived reality of the interior kingdom, and above all, to remember that authentic spiritual seeking does not consist of accumulating beliefs, but of living the truth that transforms. The question that now stands before you is essential, and it demands honesty. What will you do now that you know you are a child of God? What will you do with the consciousness that your thoughts, words, and actions have a cosmic echo, reverberating far beyond this small world? Perhaps the answer does not need to be grand. Perhaps it suffices to begin where you are, with who you are, and with what you have today. Each act of kindness, each word of encouragement, each gesture of compassion is a spark that illuminates the vast tapestry of the universe and honors the cosmic mission that Jesus embodied. The Urantia Book teaches us that the true following of Jesus is not a creed professed with the mouth. It is a life lived in attunement with the divinity within, and this life is available to all, in any place and in any epoch, because the kingdom of God remains within you, eternally accessible, eternally present. When you recognize your divine filiation and live accordingly, you become a beacon for others. Your peace becomes contagious. Your love becomes transformative. Those around you, witnessing your clarity and authenticity, will begin to question their own sleep. And in that questioning, the collective awakening begins. This is not a distant promise. It is an immediate invitation. The cosmic mission of Jesus continues through every awakened consciousness, through every soul that chooses to live from truth rather than fear, from love rather than separation. The universe is watching, not with judgment, but with infinite compassion, waiting for each of us to remember who we truly are. Not as isolated individuals struggling against the world, but as expressions of divine consciousness, participants in an eternal, intelligent, and loving cosmos. If this message has resonated with you, if something within has stirred, if a part of you recognizes the truth of these words, then you are already awakening. And in that awakening, you honor not only Jesus, but the infinite potential that lives within every human soul. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Begin there, live from there, and watch how everything transforms.